Good evening, everyone. This is Faust Kellhound. This video will be unscripted and unedited, so you'll just have to deal with me stammering and mumbling my way through this video. So it's mostly just a stream of conscience, but anyways, so this video series that I've been doing is more or less a video series for a buddy at work named Tyler. He's been interested in Warhammer 40,000 for a little bit. And over at work, there is not enough time where I can actually sit there and talk with him and introduce him properly to the series. So I decided to make these video series so he could listen to it. Because the guy is a big podcast listener, so he just has like one headphone in listening to things that are going on. And with this is I can just set up a series of videos and just have the homie listen to it. So, with that all said, now let's get started. To my homie Tyler, this is Warhammer 40,000. Hey bro, so today's video, it is going to be about the Adepta Sororitas. Like that last video I had, where I'm talking about that. I'm no longer talking about the guard. The guard, there's a lot of stuff to it and a lot of like random name characters, but I decided to just push on just so it makes it a little bit easier so I can continue on with the series and talk about other stuff. So, right now I am messing with the sisters. I pretty much told you the base about the sisters, what they are, things like that, a little bit about their history. So mostly I'm just reading off my codex that I have. So the codexes are books for the game that you can use to, well, half of the book is lore and stories and info. The other half of it is purely for the game. So as you're going through it, you could read a little bit about the history of the chapter, the organization, the faction you decided to pick up and play. And the other half are the actual rules. So with the guard, there's so many codexes. So many different additions. So a lot of people are just kind of... with GW, they change the editions every few years. And with them changing the edition every few years, is they expect people to buy another codex from them for their faction. There are a lot of people that are, how should I put this? Another YouTuber said it quite well. So this guy is called Northern Exile. I listen to him. He's pretty cool. So he's a Warhammer channel / Mel Mental Health. So kind of nice channel. The guy's a Brit. And you know how I feel about the Brits. The Brits are the people who've given the world the most Independence Days ever. And if you don't know what that means, just do a little bit of research, please. Please, other people, do some research. That's something that Tyler would have laughed about, because we've talked about it before. Anyways, continuing on. So, the guy's a Brit, not too bad. He wants to help people out, and he used to work at GW, stuff like that. But anyways, so with them changing editions every few years, like we're talking about anywhere from 3 to 5 years, they'll change to another edition, and they expect you to buy a new codex, and those codexes run from anywhere from, say, $30 back in the past, all the way to now is $50-$60 for just a book that if you bought any other codexes in the past, about half the book is exactly the same, and then the other half is just a few little rule changes. And a lot of people, they are, how should I say this? They have Stockholm Syndrome because they've spent so much money in this game, given so much money to GW, and they refuse to say that, like, hey, they may have messed up, and that they messed up. They chose the wrong game and stuff like that. And because of that, a lot of different games throughout the times or like throughout the years have been developed that are a so these games are the same kind of games like Warhammer, a tactical tabletop war game, but they allow you to have you can use almost any model you want in those games because they know so many people. They bought so much Warhammer. Warhammer's the biggest game in the world, or miniature game in the world. They have and a lot of people have Stockholm syndrome, so they have to keep buying the new editions and everything to justify. It's like, hey, oh yeah, look at my models, things like that. So these other games allow you to play any models you want, including your old Warhammer models. And then those models will go straight into another faction. One game that is very known for this, it is called One Page Rules. One Page Rules, it is a free game system that you can get just online. So One Page Rules, that's the name of the company, and their version of the Warhammer is called Grim Dark Future. So I had learned about it, I played it, and it's not bad at all, seriously. I'm like, wow, this game is fun. They've definitely cut down a lot of stupidity that GW has. So it's just easy to know, hey, these are your stats. It's pretty much like, hey, you have a toughness stat and then you have a quality stat. So your quality is pretty much how you do everything with, the quality of your character. The lower the quality number it is, the easier it is for your guys to do stuff. The higher it is, that means your character is worse. Because it's like, oh, hey, you're in set like your quality 2. That means you can do everything if you roll a 2 or higher on your d6. And then you get someone that's like, oh, hey, you're quality 6. Yeah, you have to do everything based off of 6. So that does change it. And the toughness value, that's pretty much just like, hey, if I get hit, this is my strength value kind of thing. Like how strong my armor is, stuff like that. All right. Fun game. I do like it. So they've cut a lot of the BS that GW has in their game. And their factions actually do have the flavors that that GW took out. Because I can tell you, there was a huge difference between you playing Ultramarines and then playing Dark Angels. So those are both two Marine chapters. And they played noticeably different because of like their lore, their history, things like that. GW took most of that stuff out, and it's disappointing because they're taking the flavor, the charm of many of their chapters out, and I don't know why. GW keeps saying is like, oh, we're not a game company, we're a model company. And they're going to lose that excuse really soon because I can tell you, with 3D printing becoming so much cheaper and the quality of 3D printing, it is ridiculously high quality. There is a homie that I know from another, like in a game store. So this guy has a guard army. He bought all the guard originally. Then he decided, he talked with his wife and got himself a 3D printer, put it in his garage. So this guy, is pretty much... So this homie is more well off than most of us, mostly because of the generational kind of like profits and like wealth that they've gained. So yeah, his parents and everything died, like passed away and stuff, except for his dad. So him and his wife decided to move in and take care of his dad in his golden years, which is nice. And he has a house. So the guy pretty much got a house just because his parents had it. Which is good for him, but it sucks that it's like, dude, just how things are. I wish I could be in a situation like that, and I know you wish you can be there too. But let's not put any hate on this homie. Let's be happy for him. Even though that I am a little envious of him, I will be happy for him because he's a chill guy, and I have no issue with him. So with that said, so in his garage, he has a 3D printer. I think it's like a Mars or something like that. because he has a smaller version of it. I think the larger version is called a not Venus, Saturn. But anyways, it's a resin printer, and I'm talking about this stuff is he found some great models online, got some resin, clear resin, and has built many different things like just stacks of soldiers. And the quality of the soldiers are actually surprisingly good. It's like, wow, you can actually see they have quite a lot of detail. They look good, and he decided to go with the Deathcore Krieg. That is a faction that pretty much they come from a death world, and their whole world is, well, their world used to be a paradise world. Then the nuclear war happened on the planet because there was traitors and loyalists. Loyalists was able to defeat the traitors, but they ended up destroying the top of their planet. So everyone lives in network tunnels underground. And so they live there. And pretty much just because their environment is so horrible, is they all wear gas masks every time they go out. So the way that they're dressed is like World War I France. So yes, they are dressed like down to the T of World War I French soldiers. The boots, the long coats, the masks, the helmets. Yes, those are French helmets, not German helmets. Look at pictures. Anyways, so these guys are pretty much French soldiers, and yeah, they had the name Krieg for German, but in the game and some of the lores, it pretty much talks about like, yeah, they're French. Okay, now with that, is he's pretty much just had a whole army built like that. Printed them, and I do like it. It looks really cool. But anyways, I gone off in a ramble. All right, now let me take a sip of tea, and I will continue back. So right now, I'm still sick, but I'm getting better. So most of it is out of my system, but still I'm a little bit sick. And for the tea that I'm drinking right now, so I decided to go with something nice. I got some Rooibos and vanilla tea from Celestial Seasonings, since it's here in Colorado, and the factory is literally like 40 minutes away from where we live, man. So I actually like going down there. It's fun. But anyways, yeah, so I got some from Celestial Seasonings. And then I put a little bit of, I would say probably about a shot and a half of white rum and some almond milk in there. To everyone else is this, I do almond milk because I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not highly lactose intolerant where it's like, oh, hey, if I drink it, I'll die or I'll explode like some people. No. It just makes me gassy and bloat, and I just hate that because it's like, dude, how would you feel is that you're known as a guy that's a ticking time bomb because you fart all the damn time? I don't want to be that guy. Just saying. Okay. Now, let's get back to Warhammer. So I'm just going to be talking about the organizations of the sisters. So there's orders of it. So the orders, there's a whole bunch of orders. There's major orders and minor orders. And that's pretty much so the orders are set up to be like, hey, they're this reason because of this. They do these rituals, things like that. So it's kind of like, that's why I can relate it to actual world. It's kind of like the different sects of Christianity. The sects that Christianity has. So sects is S-E-C-T, sect. So a sect, of like Christianity, how there's a difference between the Lutherans and the Baptists. Things like that. I don't know if you know it that well because I've never talked much about religion with you, but that's kind of the comparison I can give. So the first one is called the Order of Our Martyred Lady. So this order, the Order of Our Martyred Lady, is one of the biggest orders there is. It is the most well-known and the most dispersed order of all the sisters. They're everywhere. And we're talking about everyone knows of them, because the chances of you walking by them or at least seeing them, even as a normal Imperial citizen, is extremely high. And yeah, their name is known from like the lowliest poop farmer all the way to the highest noble, and like pretty much the high nobles, the high lords of Terra. Of course, they would know everything, but is like we're talking about like the highest governors of a subsector of space, things like that. Yeah, so they're known. They are known. So, like I've told you how their armor is, they wear pure black armor, and with any of their symbols and any of their different like details they have on their armor, it is trimmed with white, just like pure white. And their robes that they wear are red, blood red robes. So, their order was originally first known as the Order of the Fiery Heart. So, they were founded way back during the time of the Sebastian Thorn succession to the Ecclesiarch. So that guy I talked about last video, the one who was responsible for the Reign of Blood. So they were found pretty much during that time, and they were the Order of the Fiery Heart before they actually became the Adeptus Sororitas. And it just pretty much, when they were changed into that, they just stayed their order. So, what happens with them is years later, after all the stuff, is that one of the leaders, like the high leader of the order, so she and all of her sisters, her whole little order, they go and they are trying to take down this witch cult. This witch cult, I do not know how to say the name proper. I don't know how to say the name properly, but it's Nestuis, the witch cult of Nestuis. I'm guessing it's some planet. But anyways, so what happens is that they all go there. They're trying to take out this witch cult. A witch cult is where they do have a lot of psychers, people with psychic powers. They're unsanctioned, so they're considered witches. And that's one of their huge things, is that mutants, heretics, and witches, that's what they're hunting down. So, now actually thinking about it, is if you think about the old legends of witch hunters wore pure black. They had a red sash or a red scarf or something red on them, and anything else that they would have would be pure white. So yeah, they are dressed up like the traditional witch hunters of our legends, the actual real world legends. So they go out there, they're fighting, and then Catherine. So this person is known as Saint Catherine. She was the leader of the Order of the Fiery Heart. She's Saint Catherine, the chosen of the Emperor, the bearer of the Pranesdenian Protectia, matriarch and founder of Our Martyred Lady. So the reason why they say Our Martyred Lady is because that's what it became after. So she was the founder of it. And what happened? She's over there fighting with them all, and then she was taken down. And during that time is like, we're talking about, she is one of the most known. She's a saint, a living saint. Not the actual living saint class that is in Warhammer, but she's a saint who's still alive. Yeah. So kind of like, what's his name? Like Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas is in the Catholic Church. They believe if someone has performed 2 miracles, is that they are chosen by God and they are considered a saint. Saint Nicholas was a saint, and he was alive when he was considered a saint. So yes, people think about like, oh, that's Santa Claus' name. While Saint Nicholas while he was an actual real priest or like a real figure, and he was a saint of the Catholic Church, his major colors, while his color of his saint was pink and green. And remember, during that time, before World War II, That like yeah, it's further beyond that. Okay, so during that time, pink was considered a man's color. It was considered a young man's color, a child's color, a male child's color because it was like red. Red promotes strength and passion and like fury. And pink is just a lighter version of that. And it's like, hey, you're just a boy. You haven't got your strength and power and passion and stuff yet. So that's the reason why he was pink, because it was a manly color, but it was a calmer manly color. So yeah, that anyways, he was a living saint for many years until he actually like died. But the same kind of thing is that she's performed multiple miracles, got into a high rank, and she became a saint. So she ended up dying. And when she died, is throughout the whole Adeptus Sororitas, is all the other orders, they're just like, oh crap, this is a living saint that we had that died. Everyone got like sad. So everyone decided, it's like, hey, we're going to stop all our activities, all our missions. We're going to come back, and then we're going to have weeks of like mourning and rituals for this slain saint that we have. The word I was thinking of was vigils, week-long vigils they've had for Saint Catherine. Okay, but the only order that did not was the Order of the Fiery Heart. They were the only ones that they're like, no, we're not going to mourn for her. She died for a cause. She died for the reason she was here. She was martyred. So all of them, they decided, like everyone, we were talking about everyone in that order, from the highest ranked people, all the commanders, everyone in a mission, everyone in that order, they just girded themselves, got battled ready, put on their armor, and they just went on an endless quest for retribution for the death of what happened to their Saint Catherine. And they just, like we're talking about, is they searched everywhere. They were relentless, got all the heretics, finished the witch cult, like made sure the planet was in Warhammer purified is pretty much they burned the planet. But for them, they purified the planet from heresy and the witch. And then they just went on continuously hunting down witches, taking any reports, and just they kept going and going and going. And during that time, they're like, hey, this organization was founded by Saint Catherine. And this was called Fury Heart. It was off of her furious heart. So she died as a martyr. And then they changed it over as like, hey, we're no longer Fury Heart. We are the Order of our Martyred Lady. And that's how they started. That's how they became that. And they just went on so many quests, kept requesting more and more women, like more and more young ladies, young girls, to come into the order so they can become sisters. And they just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they started establishing their little fortress monasteries on different planets, and they just went on a crusade. And then that's how they got to be known everywhere, and that's kind of why they're the poster girls of Warhammer. Yeah, there's multiple. Yeah, they are the poster girls of Warhammer. So the poster boys are the freaking stupid smurfs that no one likes, so let's not talk about them. And then the poster women are the Order of our Martyred Lady, which I do like playing them. They're fun. I don't like their color scheme though, so I went with a different color scheme, and then I usually play with different rules. But overall, that's what they are. Now let's move on to another chapter order. So the next order is the Order of the Valorious Heart. So how their armor looks is very similar to our Martyred Lady, but their armor is all pure black. Yeah, I just dropped my phone, so that's what that loud sound was. So their armor is all pure black. And instead of just having, so their armor's pure black, their details and like the symbols are white also. They wear white gloves instead of black gloves. Their robe that they wear is on one side is black with white trim. On the other side, it is white with like the inside of the robe is white with red trim. That's like the basic look of them, and they do not all dye their hair white or bleach their hair like the Order of Our Martyred Lady. Every single sister, they pretty much get all the pigment genetically edited out. It's just pretty much they go there, they get a few shots, poof, their hair grows white forever. With the our valorous heart, yeah, they don't do that. Yeah, the other sisters orders they don't do crazy. They don't do a few things that some other organizations do. The other orders do. But anyways, is with the valorous heart. The valorous heart. Yeah, I'm actually having a little bit difficult saying that word. Difficult. I'm having some difficulty saying that word. Goodness. Okay, but with this order, the valorous heart, their big thing is so they more than any other order, they really focus on using exorcist vehicles and the retributor squads. So the exorcist vehicles, they are a tank of the Adepta Sororitas. And with it being a tank is, yeah, it's a tank, but most of their vehicles are based off the Rhino design. The Rhino design is a basic transporter that many factions throughout all the Imperium uses. So the Rhino is just kind of like a chassis that everyone uses. So it has a Rhino chassis, and what it has is that it has missile launchers on the back, like big old missile launchers. But here's the kicker: the missile launchers on it are like right on top of the vehicle, but they are shaped and made to look like they're an organ. And there is a person, a sister, on there. So pretty much it looks like an organ that they're playing. Behind the sister is like a bulletproof protective glass that looks like it's stained glass. And whenever they're when they're playing, they play a song, a hymn, and as they're playing it shoots out the missiles as they're playing the hymns. Is like that. That's kind of like, what the heck? Yeah, it's one of those moments like, what the heck is going on? Some organ, a bulletproof stained glass window, a freaking sister. They're playing the organ music, playing a hymn, and missiles are shooting out of it. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so that's a long-range vehicle. They're shooting missiles, can hit stuff from far away. And we're talking about these are smart missiles, so all that they're really doing is they're shooting it out. Is that there's a targeting system that's already looking at stuff. And then once it locks on, missiles start flying. And the whole time they're playing the music, it inspires the sisters, and it also, since it's an exorcist, it does do damage to it does damage, like the hymns itself does damage to demons and psychers. So any of the witches, and just because it's an aura thing, is it will hit your own psychers too. So the sisters usually don't have psychers, but instead of hurting them, it pretty much limits their power. So if you have a psyker unit, you have to move it away from that so it doesn't suffer any of the negative effects. Okay, and the Retributor Squad. So with the sisters, they have multiple different squads that are just filled with sisters. So the Retributor Squad, that is their heavy weapon squad. So they carry the big weapons that the sisters use. So the sisters, these are the three major weapons that they use. This is called their Holy Trinity. Is they use bolters, they use flamers, and they use melta. So bolters, you already know about it. Rocket propelled, weapons that they use to shoot out rockets. The the flamers, it's just a big old flamethrower that is safer to use, so it's not going to explode on you like in Vietnam. Okay, and then the Melta is kind of uses the same thing, but instead of shooting out flame, is it uses that and pretty much turns it into a plasma blast forward. So it's a continuous blast of plasma going forward that is used to melt through armor, because it's just like the heat that's going forward. But the ammunition, it is so limited with their stuff. They go through the ammunition very quickly, so it's one of those weapons you want to carefully use, but when you use it, it causes massive damage. So that's so with the heavy weapon versions, that's what the Retributor squads carry. So with the Valor's Heart, they are all about the long range. Is that they use a lot of exorcists to hit from afar, and they have a large amount of Retributor squads that are there with heavy bolters shooting from distance. And from what they say in the lore, is that the Lucia's noble heart in the lightning fast thuds of the bolt shells. Yeah, so let me read the beginning of the sentence. Many among the order say that they can feel the beat of Lucian's Lucian's noble heart in the lightning fast thuds of the bolt shells. So that's one of that's literally they're all shooting they're just there shooting from long range. So it's that unit that would just set everything all up, and they just keep shooting to whatever that they're fighting until they're dead. So yes, all sisters, they do have melee units, stuff like that, but certain orders focus on other things, and their big thing is like, hey, we'll all fight them from range. All right, now let's go to the next order. And this order is the Order of the Bloody Rose. So the Bloody Rose, how they all look. Their armor is all red. It is a brighter red color, with the trims being silver. Their robes on the outside are white, and on the inside of the robe, it is a dark maroon wine color. Okay, that is how they look in their armor. So, the Order of the Bloody Rose, their big thing is fury, anger, rage, stuff like that. So, they're all about that. They focus on being angry, focus on rage of battle. And they practice quite a lot in melee, so every sister focuses on being a great melee fighter of some sort. Their practice and style of fighting is that they advance slowly, using flames and fire to disguise their movement as they go closer. They're going closer, yeah, other sisters are shooting with the bolters, moving forward, tactically advancing, using flames as cover. Once they get close enough, they charge and they just open up melee attacks. We're talking about they're running there, swinging a rifle butt hard enough to like break helmets, crack skulls, punching, kicking, elbowing, rupturing organs, using chain swords or blades in torsos to cut people in half. They're all about melee, is once they get there. Yeah, they tactically advance using flames and bolters, but once they get close, they unleash rage, which is also kind of in the game of how they are. Is that they get extra attacks and bonuses in melee. So you want to move up. You want to move up with them. And in the game, like when you're actually playing the game, yeah, you don't have to make an actual army that is fluffy or that is like lore-like that works. You can just make an army of just the best units there is. And in the faction, like in the lore, yeah, that faction wouldn't use a force like that, but in the game, it works amazing. So, a little bit different, but their lore does reflect in the game how they are. Now to the next order. The next one is the Order of the Ebony or Ebon Chalice. So the Ebon Chalice. Okay, how they look is once again they are pure black armor, but the details on their armor, not the symbols, just their details are silver, and any of the symbols on their armor are gold. They wear a white robe with gold details on it, and on the inside of the robe, it is red. It is like blood red. So they look similar to other ones, but they're kind of a little bit noticeably different. They're a little bit shinier. It's like, huh, oh wait, that's not white, that's silver and gold. Okay, so the Order of the Ebon Chalice. Their main place, their main area is in the Segment Solar. Segment Solar is the section area of our solar system, of our system, Earth, Holy Terra. So they're here, and most of their forces are here on, like, in the Sol system. That is a big thing in 40k. Is very few groups, very few things get to be in the Sol system, like actually have their base there, because we're talking about is a pretty crowded area. And with that, that's huge. So their big thing is they're here, and they are considered the first of all of the orders of the Sisters of Battle. So they're like the first order. Their big thing is they're trying to be perfect. They're trying to have perfection, because since they're the first and they're one of the best legions there is, and they are, or legions, one of the best orders there is, and they are their base, their main area, the bulk of their forces are in the Sol system. Is that they are looked at as one of the like top best ones, the ones that the other orders want to be like. So the other orders strive to be like them. So they have to show the most pious, the most faithful sisters. They have to show the best way of fighting, the most tactics, the most understanding of the Imperial Creed. So they are, in the actual lore, they are what it means to be a sister of battle. So in the actual lore, they are the poster women of the Sisters of Battle. Everyone wants to be like them. And hence the reason why it's like that's their big thing, is perfection. They want to be perfect in everything. And on top of it too, is what's kind of crazy about them. So they're one of their other major duties that they do, instead of protecting the sanctity of the Segment Solar, is that if there is any other groups of sisters that show lack of faith or they're straying from the righteous path, the Order of the Ebon Chalice are given orders to go take them out, eradicate them, get rid of that group of sisters. So they're the executioners of the Sisters of Battle. So a Sister of Battle order are also the executioners of Sisters of Battle. So that is what they are. And that's pretty crazy with how they are. And that kind of, like, with their lore, makes them sound pretty awesome. And I did not know too much about them until I decided to make this video, and I actually like them a lot. Their armor looks kind of cool, because it's like, oh yeah, we're all like, yeah, we have black armor, but we have the shiny stuff on us compared to others. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I do like that. Alrighty then. Now let's move on to the next. Is Order of the Argent Shroud. So, how they look. They wear silver armor. So yeah, kind of different than most of the others. So they wear silver armor. Their robes are white on the outside and red on the inside. And any details of their armor are just white. So they want to kind of look like kind of their strategy and mentality is they're like the silver bullet. They are like, they hit the target, they take care of it, then they move on. The strategy and style of their fighting is hit and run style. So they go, they hit, they run up, they smack you hard, and then they run away. And their units that they actually prefer to use more than any other are the Dominion squads. So they use the Dominion squads quite a lot. What they are they are a fast-moving group of sisters. So they're just kind of like a normal group of battle sisters, but they're a little bit stealthier. Yes, they have the same armor. They're a little bit stealthier, so they go around sides and they flank enemies. So, like where the main front is, they use a lot of the mini squads to flank their enemies. And they use jetpack sisters. So, sisters that have jetpacks, there are two groups. There are the Sephirim squad. So, Sephirim, like the angel from the Bible, Sephiroms, is that they have jump packs. They jump down, and they are about shooting. So they usually dual wield pistols. They drop down, they shoot, and then they move. So yeah, they are kind of like the essence of like hit and run. They literally drop down, they shoot some stuff, and then they move away. So they can do like some more damage, hit another target, things like that. Okay, and then there are the okay, sounds very similar. So there's a Sephirim squad that's the shooty squad. There's the Zephyrim, so like wind, like ZYP, like Zephyrim. So the Zephyrim squads, they are a melee squad. So they would come down, hit hard, and they fight people. So they usually carry a sword and a bolter, like a sword and a gun, and they come down. Yeah, as they're coming down, they're shooting, and they start swinging with their sword. They're better in melee than the Zephyrim, or not the Zephyrim, the Sephirim squad. So like the gun squad, yeah, they jump down, they shoot, they can do a little bit of melee, but the other squad is more melee, and yeah, they're all jump packs. So the Argent squad really focus on lightning fast, quick, like quick hit and run tactics. All right, now the next order is the Order of the Sacred Rose. How they look, excuse me. How they look, they have white armor, and on the armor, their details are gold. They have white robes with red under, with the inside of it is red. So they are trying to be kind of like the holy light of the Emperor. So they would come down, they would enter a battlefield, they so their tactics of fighting is just a basic sisters tactics. They follow very similar to the Ebon Chalice. They move with the flow. They try to just do the basic tactics, move up. They really focus on using the Holy Trinity. So they have the Bolter, the Flamer, and the Melta. So just their organization is kind of like the best tactics, or just like the basic tactics of the sisters. But their big thing with them, they are they are one of the most loved groups of sisters, because whenever they come onto a battlefield, they come all gleaming white. They all are singing hymns. They have the music blasting throughout all their different things. There's hymns always going on, and they are there to bolster. Like whenever they help any other Imperial group, they're there. They bolster them. They help them out. They have a large number of their hospitals, so they're medics. So they do help out a lot. They're kind of like when you see that unit, your morale raises. You have all these sisters here, all these just like it would be beautiful women coming there, like all being like, hey, they're all coming as like kind of like the angelic look. Hymns are playing, songs. They're singing hymns, music's playing. They're taking care of you. They're protecting you. They're kind of like angels, is all white, and they're in power armor. So when they get shot, it doesn't hurt really doesn't hurt them because they have armor. They use classic tactics, and they're just a joy to be around. That's kind of their big thing, is people like being around them because they're kind, they take care of you, and they're good warriors, and they actually follow orders. Unlike the Argent Shroud, where they kind of just do their own thing, hit and run tactics, which drive like their other allies kind of crazy because they never know where they're at or what they're doing. Is they play the Sacred Rose, they play the game, they do what they're supposed to be doing, they help out, and it's just like they're kind, they boost your morale, they boost your faith, they do all the things that you're looking for like a group from that is of the ecclesiarchy. And yeah, that's exactly what you want to be around. Especially like when you're in a battlefield where you've seen thousands of your own men dying, you're hurt a little bit too, and then you just see ranks of these women in pure white, kind of glowing, walking to you, and then as they see you down, one of them stops there, checks on you, see how you are, helps you to the back where you get medical care, and it's just in your head is like, oh, oh my emperor, you sent your angels, they've taken care of me. Yeah, so it's just like it is a sight to be seen. By being taken care of, your hope and your faith has been boasted, and then you see them and they're fighting and they're kind to you. It's just like your morale gets boasted, and it's just like you just want to keep going because of that. It's like this is exactly what you want from a group in Warhammer, like a faction. In the grim, dark future where there's only war, you see light, you see kindness, you see strength, and it's like this is something that people want to fight for. And that's what they do. They give them a reason to fight for. And yeah, in a dark, horrible future, is all the light. You'll take all the light you can, and then you literally just see form like ranks upon ranks of women that are showing that light. But yeah, so that that all of that, those are the major orders. So there's a few different orders. I really haven't read too much of them, but a lot of these orders are kind of like there are groups that have excuse me. Okay, so the major orders. I already finished talking about them. These are the minor orders. So they are orders that have branched off from the major orders. Just because they branched off does not mean that they're bad. Does not mean that they have ill will against the other orders. Yeah, there's like say the Ebon Chalice, or actually no, the Sacred Rose. They would have different fortress monasteries on different planets, different sectors, different areas of space, and it's just that they follow a certain tenet and of how to be. So these groups, they follow the tenets. They follow some of the tenets of their former group that they came from, but then they wanted it different, so they changed it up a little bit, so they have their own orders now. So now let's go with this. So there is the Order of the Glowing Chalice. So they are the spiritual descendants of the Ebon Chalice. So they're a little bit different. I don't know too much about it. I haven't read into them. I just have a list of this group. And it kind of looks like their armor is dark red. So it's like dark red with black robes. And then you have the Order of the Thorn. And so they come from the Order of the Bloody Rose. And yeah, they have white armor. Then you have the Order of the Iron Veil. They are from their descendants from the Argent Shroud, but instead of using hit and run tactics, they really get in close and they really hold their position. And their armor is just silver, silver gray, like actually look like armor, like steel iron to be there, and they act more like a wall force. So I'm just reading a quick description of them before I actually talk about them, because I found that a little silly. It's like, why not read their description? It's tiny. Okay, there is the Order of the Ashen Shrine. So they are from the Sacred Rose, but they are more focused on flamers and melee. and their armor is black. Yeah, so I really can't tell what color their robe is because all it shows is kind of like a shot of the woman's face and then a little bit of their armor. They don't have too much of the art on it, so I can't really talk about their armor and how they look. Because these are minor orders that kind of like, hey, they have some things. Most of the minor orders, they're mostly known because they were put in a book, like in a 40K book or like a series, is like, oh yeah, this order of that. So a lot of these orders were made by authors of 40K just so that they would have like kind of their own little personal order in their book, kind of doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then afterwards, they kind of like, oh yeah, they're like the author would be is like, oh yeah, they're based off of this one, but they're a little bit different and they do this. So yeah. Yeah, their matriarch, their finder would be a kind of like another saint that starts their own little order. All right. The next one is the Order of the Wounded Heart. So they are from the Order of the Valorous Heart. So yeah, they're all about the range and everything. But their unique thing that they do is that they all deglove their right hand. So degloving their own right hand, like that's part of their like ritual to become a sister, is they deglove the skin off of their right hand. And it's just like, dude, and their thing is that the reason why they do it is because they want to feel the pain of like the pain that Lucian felt, because Lucia, the founder of the Valorous Heart, is that she was pretty much what's that called, like flayed. She was martyred by being like being flayed to death. She was flayed to death, most likely by a chaos group or something like that. I haven't looked into her history, but they deglove their hand just so they can feel the pain that she's felt, and they keep it like that. And they just so that every time they pull the trigger, they feel pain. Every time they hold their sword with the right hand, they feel the pain. Just so they feel the pain of the saint who started their order, and the order that they descended from. And the last minor order that it talks about, it is called the Order of the Golden Light. Their armor is all gold, and their robes are white because the description talks about them. So they are descended from the Order of our Martyred Lady. They follow her tenets and everything in exactly the same as our Martyred Lady. But the thing is with their units is like they are known as one of the smallest minor orders there are. And throughout the Scalia Progenia is where the sisters recruit their females from, so their sisters from, is that it shows that in their databanks is that the Order of the Golden Light has never recruited a single sister from, like a single girl from the Scalia Progenia. Okay, how they bolster their numbers. Their big thing is that they go around, and any sisters that are on a quest for martyrdom. So it's a quest that they go on that they are trying to repent for what they've done, so they're going to die. They're going to fight as hard as they can and die and become like, hey, I die as a martyr. So what they do... Actually, wait, I take that back. I don't know if it is a quest of repentance, but it's pretty much quest of martyrdom, is that where they would go, fight as hard as they can, and die. So how the order recruits their sisters is that they find the martyrs that are dying, and they go there, help them, save them, and it's like, hey, join us, and they recruit them. And that's how they get their numbers, is they only fill up their numbers is with rescued martyrs, which is kind of cool, kind of weird, but I would have to check a little bit more in like the sisters' martyrdom and stuff that they do. But anyways, homies, so that's the Order of the Sisters of of the Sisters of Battle, the Adepta Sororitas. And with that all said, I'm going to end the video now. So, everyone, like, subscribe, share, help this channel grow. Tell your mom, your dog, your grandma, your next door neighbor, that person that you really don't like at work that you see once in a while. Yeah, tell everyone about it. Alrighty then, guys. Remember, most importantly of all, always love the Cowhound. You all take care now.